Hi everyone, welcome to the video lecture series of Object-Oriented Programming. In this video lecture, we'll be discussing about two topics. They are command line arguments and variable length arguments. First, we will see about what is command line arguments. Command line arguments means the parameters or the input that we give through command line. That means through terminal or command prompt. That is how we can define command line arguments. So we know how to compile a Java program and how to run a Java program. First of all, we have to write a Java program. We have to save that file with .java extension. For compiling, we have to call the Java compiler, and name of the Java compiler is javac. All those things we know. Suppose I am writing a program like this and I am saving this program with file name command line example.java. This is my file name. So if I want to compile this program, I have to type javac, which is the name of our Java compiler, space the name of the Java program. If there are no errors, that means if the compilation takes place successfully, we will get a new file that is known as a bytecode, which will be having a .class extension, right? That is our bytecode. Okay. Now if you want to see the output of our program, we have to give this bytecode to our Java virtual machine. For that, we have to write Java and name of the file with .class extension, that is our bytecode. Okay. So it is possible to pass parameters along with this line. That is, it is possible to pass parameters when we run our Java program. We type this line at terminal or the command prompt, isn't it? It is possible to pass input or parameters when we type this line in the terminal or command prompt along with this line. As you can see in this example, here this is the parameter that we are giving to this program. So this is an additional input that we are giving when we run this program. So this input has to be stored somewhere. It has to be stored safely somewhere so that we can use it later. Otherwise, this input will be lost forever. So that is why, or for that reason, or to store the parameters that we give when we run a Java program from terminal or to command prompt, the space for those input is our string args. In other words, we can say that the parameter that we write, the formal parameter that we write along the main method named string args, which is an array of type string, is used to store the parameters that we pass to the program when we run the Java program. And those arguments are known as command line arguments. And one point you have to remember here is the type of this array is string. That means whatever may be the input that we are giving at the time of running time, at the time when we run the Java program, even if it is numbers or floating point numbers, whatever it may be, it will be treated as a string because we are storing it inside an array of type string. So even if we give the value of 10 and 20 here, it will be stored inside this array args as a string. Okay. In this example, I am passing only one parameter. So that parameter will be stored inside this array at index number 0. All of you know how to access elements inside an array, right? By using index numbers. The index numbers inside array starts from 0. So since we are passing only one parameter here, that parameter will be stored at index number 0 of this array. We can pass any number of input here. Each one of them has to be separated by a space. Okay, the space acts as the delimiter. So if I type Zono space 10 space 20, it will be treated as 3 parameters, and Zono will be at args of 0, 10 will be at args of 1, and 20 will be at args of 2. So each element will be inserted into different index numbers in the same order. Okay, so see how we are accessing that parameter, array name and the index number. We can see another example. In this example, the class name is A, so I am saving this. We have to save this file with the name A and extension as Java, so it will be a.java, and we are using a for loop to access all the elements inside the array args. Okay, so at present args does not have anything because now it is empty. We have not inserted any elements inside this args array. Okay, and now see how we are running it. So when we compile this, we will be getting a class file, that is our bytecode. Name of that class file will be A itself. Okay, and then we are passing, in this example we are passing 4 parameters. It's not 4, I think it's 5. Yeah, 5 parameters. They are Sono, Jaiswal, 1, 3, ABC. Okay, here 1 and 3 are numbers, but even then it will be treated as strings because it is going to be stored inside an array named args of type string. So args of 0 will be Sono, args of 1 will be Jaiswal, args of 2 will be 1, args of 3 will be 3, and args of 4 will be ABC. So see how it is separated. We are separating these parameters by means of space, single space between each of these parameters. And see how we are accessing it. Int I equal to 0, I less than args dot length. Here length is the property of an array which returns the number of elements inside the array. So at present it will be returning 5. Then it is the normal syntax of for loop. Then we are printing the values of args of I. So I will start from 0. So at the beginning args of 0, which is Sono, so we will get the output as Sono. Then I will be incremented, I is less than 5, the condition is true. Then it will print args of 1, which will give us this value, so it is printed. Then I is incremented again. Next we will get 1, then 3, and then A. So that was about our command line arguments. Now we will see something really interesting, that is known as variable length arguments. The basic idea of variable length arguments is to allow the methods to have 0 or multiple arguments. In short, we call variable length arguments as VAR-ARGs, var args. Okay, before this feature was introduced in Java, we used method overloading to handle such situations. That is, we'll be writing more than one method having the same name but different parameter list. So the situation is like this. We don't know exactly how many parameters is going to come for a method. So what we are going to do is, so if this variable length arguments was not there, we will have to write a method with the same name but having different number of parameters. One method, say method name is add, does not have any parameters. Another method with same name, that is add, with 1 parameter. Next again another method named add itself with 2 parameters, because we don't know how many parameters is going to be there when we call this method. So that was a situation when when this variable length arguments was not there, but Java introduced this feature. Okay, so that was the basic idea of this feature, that is to allow the methods to accept 0 or more arguments. Okay, so it is the best approach that we have to follow when we don't know exactly how many arguments will be there for a method. Okay, and for this variable length arguments we'll be using something known as ellipses. That means 3 dots. Okay, in order to indicate that the method is going to accept a variable number of arguments. That means when this method will be called, there can be 0 or more arguments. In order to indicate that, we'll be using 3 dots, and we call these 3 dots as the ellipses. Okay, you can see the syntax here. It is return type, method name, then the pair of parentheses, then the data type, then 3 dots, that is our ellipses, and then the variable name. So when 3 dots are there in place of format parameters, this means this method is going to have, or this method can accept 0 or more arguments. It is possible to call this method with 0 parameters, or it is possible to call this method with 1 parameter or 2 parameter or 3 parameters, whatever it may be. Okay, so that is the basic idea of variable length arguments. Now Here is the example for variable length arguments. We are starting one class, we are given one class name, then see we have declared this method as static. Why? Because we are going to call this method from within the main method. Since main method is static, main method can call only other static methods that we have studied in the static keyword session. It is because of the static keyword. Okay, the main method is static, so main method can call only static methods. So when we write more methods within the same class that consists of main method, all those methods has to be static, otherwise main method will not be able to call them. So we are declaring this method named display as static, and it is not returning anything, it's void. And see, this is a variable length argument because there is data type, that is string, and 3 dots, that is our ellipsis, and then the variable name. So this means it is possible to call this method named display without any parameter, or with one parameter, or with two parameters, etc. So see here, we are calling the method display with no parameters, no argument, 0 argument. Then also this method will work because here we have mentioned that this method is having a variable length argument. That is, it is possible to call this method with 0 arguments. See the next line, we are calling this method display with 4 arguments. That is also possible. Okay, and see, we have not used 4 variables here, we have used only one variable here, and we have mentioned that it is going to be a variable length argument. When we use variable length arguments, we have to follow some rules, definitely, otherwise our program will not get compiled. And here are those 2 rules. First rule is there can be only one variable length argument. That is, it is possible to write any number of arguments for a method, but among them there can be only one variable length argument. And second rule is, if a method have got a variable length argument, it must be the last argument. See here this method named method is having 2 parameters. They are, one is string A and in B. Both of them are written as variable length. That is not allowed, because there can be only one variable length argument for a method. There can be any number of other arguments, normal arguments, along with this variable length argument, but there can be only one variable length argument. And second rule is, if a method have got a variable length argument, it has to be the last one. So see this example, void method. Here we have written the variable length argument as the first argument or the first parameter. That is not allowed. This is the problem. Here the position of variable length argument is the error. If it was string B the first argument and int triple dot comma and int triple dot A was a second, then it was okay, because in that case this variable length argument is the last one. So these are the 2 rules that we have to maintain when we use variable length argument. That is, a method can have any number of normal arguments, there is no doubt in it, but if a method is having a variable length argument, there can be only one variable length argument. There can be any number of normal arguments along with this one variable length argument. That is okay. And second rule is, if a method is having a variable length argument, then that has to be the last among the arguments. Okay, so here we can write a method having 4 arguments. Among those 4 arguments, the last one can be, or if you are using variable length arguments, then it must be the last argument. The remaining 3 arguments can be normal arguments. So we shall conclude now. So we have discussed 2 important features of Java, that is command line arguments, how to pass, where it is stored, how to access it, and a new feature in Java that is known as a variable length argument, when we have to use that and how to use that. Okay, and the rules that we have to follow when we make use of variable length arguments. Thank you so much.